Hey, John Martinez with the REI Sales Academy here, and I want to talk about one of the biggest pitfalls I see when investors scale up. Something that causes more stress and heartache and overwhelm than probably anything I've seen in that world, in the industry, when trying to go from being a solopreneur to just doing more and doing it faster. And that is hiring the wrong salesperson. Let me tell you exactly how this plays out, how I've seen it play out 100 times, and how I'm sure will happen 100 more times this year that I'm witness to. So let me tell you exactly what happens when you hire the wrong salesperson. You first start with your process. You start interviewing, and after 5 or 10 applicants, maybe no one's a perfect fit. Maybe you don't know whether someone's a perfect fit or not. So you just go with your gut and you hire the best you think. Maybe it's based on experience, where they came from, a previous track record. Maybe it's based on experience in real estate. Maybe it's based on personality. Maybe it could be based on a dozen different things, but something in you says, let's hire this person. And that you hire them as a salesperson, an acquisition agent, and you pour blood, sweat, and tears into them. You feel like it's your responsibility to make them successful. And so you give it everything you've got. Not only do you feel like it's your responsibility, like you want to equip them with everything you have, the other thing you're feeling is these leads are expensive, and they're getting more and more expensive, and they're hard to come by. So if I'm out of this and someone else is doing this for me, it's not going to be an amateur. I got to make sure I give them every chance possible to make sure this lead converts. So you pour your heart and soul into them, and they do not get the results you get. And you keep training and training and training and training, and they don't get the results you get. And fast forward 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, they get a couple deals here and there, but now at this point the business is just, it's hemorrhaging. It's like bleeding out. You're spending a ton on leads. You hired a person, so usually you ramp up leads because you're like, hey, this is all they're doing. If we're scaling up, let's do this the right way. I'm ramping up leads. So you're spending more. You have more leads. You've got the overhead of the salesperson cutting into each deal because you're paying a commission, maybe even a monthly salary or draw or something like that. The deals that they are getting, they're not converting as many leads, a lower percentage. The deals that they are getting, they're not getting as good of a deal. They're buying at a higher price. And you turn around and you go, I am stressed out beyond belief. Yes, maybe I offloaded the sales position, but they're not cutting it and the business is suffering. But do you let them go? You don't let them go, because you have put in so much work, and what's going to go through your head is, I put so much into this person. I've spent so much time and resources and given them so many leads. Like, I can't let go. There's just too much invested. And then you're going to start to think, maybe I need to let them go. But if I do let them go, then I'm back in it. I'm back in that hustle, that grind, that running every appointment. And what'll happen is, that'll eventually happen. You'll be back in it, but only when things get so bad, there's no other choice. So imagine how that feels. Right? You go through all that, it's 2 to 4 months later, you let your business tank, and not only is it tanking, now you're in recovery mode. You're trying to dig yourself out of the hole. That is what happens when you hire a bad salesperson. It's heartbreaking for me to watch. So the best advice I can give is make sure you hire a good salesperson. On average, 5% of people who apply for a sales position can actually cut it. They can hack it. So if you're going to old school interview, number one, know exactly what you're looking for. Know exactly what makes a good salesperson. They can't have a non-supportive buy cycle, get emotionally involved in the sale. You got to make sure that they are coachable. You got to make sure that they take responsibility. You got to make sure that they can close. They know when to present. You got to make sure that they sell consultatively in your industry. There's all kinds of things you got to look for. So once you get that dialed in, you got to interview at least 20 people to find one good one. I recommend 60 to 100 people to find 5 good ones and see who really fits. But you got to make sure the 5 that you pick are actually the 5 that can and will sell, that those were not just a guess. If that seems a little daunting and overwhelming, well, number one, that's what it takes. Those are just the numbers. I can't fix those. If you want some help with that, do the OMG assessments. The OMG assessments You don't interview anyone, you just throw them all through the online assessments, and they'll if you put 100 people through, it'll tell you the 3, 4, or 5 people that actually can and will sell for you, and those are the only 3, 4, or 5 people you talk to. It's guaranteed that they'll work out. You just want to feel them out to make sure, you know, check references, make sure that their past is truly their past and they're not lying, and make sure they fit in with your culture. You can do either one, but you got to do one of them. You got to pick one or the other. You choose which one. If you want help with the hiring part, go to our website, midwestrevgroup.com, or there might be a link or a button on this video or around this video or above it or below it or something. Click that button. It will take you to my page with the sales hiring assessments, the OMG assessments. But on that page, you can do a free assessment if you just want to play with them and see what kind of information it shoots out. But if you scroll down, I've started doing a series of videos, so there's going to be all kinds of hiring tips. So if you go, hey, I just want to do this on my own, totally cool. Watch those videos, take those tips, and go ahead and implement them when you're hiring. It'll tell you exactly what to look for, what questions to ask when hiring, and that type of stuff. Do the free assessment if you want to. Those are really fun and cool too. I like doing personality profiles and stuff myself, so it's kind of interesting what it tells you about you and your ability to sell. So that's good for giggles and just getting to know the assessment if you want to. And then there's also a button on that page if you want to know more about costs and any discounts or promotions we're running on and that type of stuff. There's a button somewhere on that page you can click, and that'll tell you some more information about those too. But bottom line is, don't go through that like 2 to 4 month cycle of digging that hole and then digging yourself out and starting in a much worse position, or finishing in a much worse position than when you started. You gotta hire the right person. I can't stress that enough. That's a cycle you do not want to be in. Good luck.